All right, 99.9 Punk World Radio FM. You guys already know what time it is. And right here, we are live with Las Vegas, Nevada's own. We have the Desert Degenerates right here, live on the radio station airwaves, 99.9 here in Prescott, Ontario, Canada. And of course, Facebook and YouTube as well. How are you guys doing tonight?
Great, man. Thanks for having us on. We're happy to be here.
Yeah, you were most certainly welcome, man. My apologies. When I spoke to you, guys were to say something.
Perfect timing.
And I gotta say, man, how is everything out there in Las Vegas, man? Because I've always wanted to visit Sin City, but never had the opportunity to do so. Like, what is the weather like nowadays in November? Sorry.
It gets a little chilly in like November, December, January, but nothing like what you have up there. I mean, it was like 60s, 70s today, so nice. Yeah.
Oh man, that sounds like summer weather for Canada down here, man. So 60 to 70, we can definitely switch environments, man. I will not complain.
No, I'm good. Yeah, stay here. Well, maybe we'll come visit sometime.
But I know you guys are very busy individuals, so of course I'm not going to take you away from your Friday night too long, but I got to take you back to the beginning of Desert Degenerates. I have to ask, like, what actually made you three how did you three first meet, and of course, what made you guys decide to come together as one to form this killer band?
Sure. So it actually goes back pretty far. So like Sam and I have actually been in bands since we were like 13. So going on 20 years. Since we started our first group back then called Worn Out Theory, and then we were in another band called Hit for a long time. And then during the pandemic, actually, Sam and I started writing like Desert Degenerates songs. So like for our first record, The Light State, we wrote in 2020. And then released our second record. And then after we released our second record, we found David to start playing drums for us. Just out, yeah. And that's how it came together, and then we just did our new record, Mahoney Nights. So super stoked about that.
And when you actually said a few moments ago how you were in a band, Worn Out Theory, I was wondering if you could actually just tell us a bit more about those earlier bands. And is that music, has it actually since been released to the internet? That way the Desert Degenerate fans that didn't know this about you guys can actually kind of go back and hear your guys' earlier work prior to this band.
The Worn Out Theory stuff, it's probably somewhere deep on the internet. Most of those recordings got lost because that was like when we were like junior high and like freshmen in high school. And like, just to give you some perspective, we're in our 30s now. That was back in the MySpace days. So we may have a MySpace out there somewhere with some really bad demos. But yeah, that was just like us learning how to play kind of. I remember I was walking home from school and I saw Kyle and he had to walk home too. So we just started talking about music. He's like, I have a bass. He's like, can you play? And I was like, I don't really know how to play guitar. But our friend Daniel, he was super pumped on music. He got me into like punk rock and a lot of other good stuff. And we knew this kid was like an early adapter drug addict, and he stole his stepdad's guitar and he sold it to me for like $20. And that's basically how I started learning how to play.
Yeah.
And do you still have that $20 guitar today, or is that just something that just got worn out throughout the years?
It's still out there because our second band, which was called Hit, which you can find on Spotify and stuff, we released a couple albums with Hit. So the first one was called The Floor, and the second one was called Breathalyze This. The guitar player from that band still has that guitar, but he put like hundreds of dollars and hundreds of hours into actually making it into a really sick guitar. And we recorded albums with that guitar in Hit, so it's actually
it's still at our buddy Matt. It's at our buddy Matt's house. Yeah, it's a good guitar.
Hey man, and it's good as well that it got stripped. That way, if Buddy's dad happens to notice it throughout the years, you can be like, "Hey, your guitar." At least not anymore, it isn't.
Yeah, it would be unrecognizable now. It's a completely different beast.
But also, March 1st of 2022, you guys actually released the killer 11-track album titled Jackalope, and this is the album that I actually first came across where I discovered you guys. I was wondering if you can actually just tell us the story and inspiration behind this amazing album, and of course, where can our listeners actually snag themselves a copy of it today if they haven't already done so?
Yeah. So, Jackalope was our second album. Again, it was like me and Sam, like, doing our thing, like writing songs, like in the studio, demo them out as we go. So you can kind of hear those like different influence through it. Like we have some like really fast, clean sounding like ska punk tracks, and then like some weird sounding stuff like the song Jackalope and Desert Island, because it was kind of like whatever we were like feeling and grooving with that day and jamming, we just like would record and turn into a song. So that's like how we ended up with kind of like a pretty interesting mix of songs on that album. Yeah, it's on like Spotify and YouTube and everywhere where you would stream music.
Yeah, we have. If anyone wants to send us an email, we'll just physically send you a copy. I don't have that up for sale on our website, but it's desertdegenerates.com. It has all of our links to any songs we ever recorded, as well as what's for sale, including like T-shirts, all that kind of stuff. But for what I haven't added that actual, I do have like a box full of those CDs. So anyone who wants an old CD, just shoot us an email. I'll mail it to you.
Yeah.
But we're selling the other ones are for sale in our merch section with our new CD.
And when you said as well a few moments ago how you mentioned the song Desert Island, I have to say that is absolutely my most favorite song off that project, man. If I had a gun to my head and I had to choose one song off that record, it would definitely be Desert Island.
Yeah, so that one was cool. Like, I think one day me and Sam were kind of just like in the studio, and Sam was just like messing around on some guitar licks, and ended up kind of like playing that chord progression. And we didn't really have anything for it at the time. And then when we decided that we were going to name the record Jackalope, I was like, we should make a song called Desert Island, because it just sounded like it would fit. And then Sam like came right back with like a bunch of lyrics that ended up being the lyrics to that song.
Yeah,
like
I think at that time too, I don't think I was working. Like when I first moved to Las Vegas, I was just playing roulette a bunch for like a few months. And so that's where we were kind of like, I wanted to have like a song that would be cool with it. We have the slot machine sounds in the background and stuff like that.
And also as well, guys, back in August, you had the opportunity to attend the Punk Rock Flea Market's official after party over at the Punk Rock Museum. I was wondering if you can actually just tell us a bit more about that night, and of course, what was it like actually just attending the iconic Punk Rock Museum? Because I know, unfortunately, a lot of our listeners might not have actually had the chance to actually just experience the Punk Rock Museum. I've seen pictures and photos, and every person that walks in that tells me about it, I get extremely jealous.
Yeah, it was cool. Like, we did the show earlier in the day at the Punk Rock Flea Market, and that was great. There was a bunch of bands that we all played with, and everyone headed over to the Punk Rock Museum after. And one of the bands did like an acoustic set at the museum and the bar, and it was like East Bay Ray from the Dead Kennedys was hanging out there, and I got to meet him and talk to him a little bit, which was awesome because like my dad raised me on the Dead Kennedys, and so it was pretty cool to like meet this guy in the flesh and just kind of hang and chat with him for a minute at the Punk Rock Museum. So that's kind of what goes on down there, man. Like any day of the week you go down to the Punk Rock Museum, like there could just be some absolute legend of punk music just hanging at the bar. So
yeah, like right when the museum first opened, I went by there, and me and our drummer David over here, we went on a tour with Smelly from NoFX, and that guy's hilarious. It was awesome, just telling crazy stories about the 80s and like fighting people, all kinds of stuff going down. And anytime fans wanted to take a picture of them, he'd always like slap them in the nuts. It's worth going there. It's just a lot of characters there, a lot of really good music. You can play around on like Tim Armstrong's guitar, a bunch of cool stuff down there.
Yeah, I speaking of NoFX, it's crazy that I just actually know that they're actually on their final tour, man. Like, they had obviously a phenomenal run all these years, but it's definitely sad to know such a legendary punk rock band is kind of, hanging up the microphone and putting the sticks away,
Yeah, I mean, we spent a lot of time, me and Sam at least, like when we were younger, just listening to NoFX records on repeat and chugging beer and playing beer pong and stuff. Like their album Coaster was really influential. I think for me, I love to like just play that over and over and just sing along and, like I said, chug beer and get into whatever other kind of trouble we were doing at the time. NoFX is good for that. So yeah, I'm hoping. I just saw they announced some more dates today, so maybe
Yeah, maybe go down to LA, catch one of the last shows.
Yeah, I feel like we got to do it.
Yeah, they have a few coming in Montreal. They have 2 nights, so I mean, depending on my schedule, I'm definitely gonna try to save myself some tickets. I mean, because at the end of the day, if you're gonna see No Effects, this is the time now because you're never gonna get a chance to again.
Yeah, take the opportunity while it's there because you probably regret it if you don't do it. Yeah.
And also as well, you on October 4th, 2023, you guys actually released your most recent album titled Mojave Nights. I was wondering if you can actually just tell us just the story behind this most recently released album, and of course, do you actually have any hard copies available to be purchased today? Because I do know you have some on the website, but just obviously sometimes things get sold out with a snap of a finger.
Yeah, so we do. I don't know if you'll be able to see well, but we do have a bunch of copies of it, like this, here with us. So yeah, they're available on the website, and we bring them to all our shows, obviously, of course.
Yeah, go to desertdegenerates.com. You can buy a copy there. That's our first album. Like I said before, with our old album, it was just me and Kyle. So we had, just us two recording every instrument. And so it's a lot nicer to have an actual drummer to play with now that we found David. We were putting out ads trying to find drummer for a long time. And it's so hard to find a good drummer here. Like, we had so many people would respond to those ads with like an actual resume saying like that they worked at we had one guy who was 66 and he sent in a resume telling me he had worked at McDonald's. It had nothing to do with his music. And we're like, dude, are we ever going to find something? And then we finally found this guy, and it's been working out.
Yeah. So
did you at least give the old dude from McDonald's like a try? Because you never know, you might have a hidden talent. You know what I mean? Did you actually give him a try, or you were like, you know what, we're not interested in Ronald McDonald?
No, I think he's put down he liked Peter Frampton, and I just deleted that.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think we started writing the first songs for Mojave Nights right around the time that David joined the band, because the first one that we wrote was Doorman. And I remember playing Doorman at the first practice that we had together. So that was a cool song. Doorman, first track on the record, 100% based on a true story from the lyrics. And so like that was a fun song to write because I had come up with like the chorus part, and then Sam came over that afternoon and he had like this like riff for the verse part that we just like kind of dreamed together, and then started like writing the rest of the lyrics for the verses and stuff. So that song,
because when Dave came into the band, we probably already had like a stockpile of like 30 songs, and we just started whittling them down to the ones that didn't suck ass.
Yeah. And also as well, guys, this record was also recorded at Blur Ribbon Recordings. I was wondering if you can actually just tell us a bit more about what it was like actually just recording your music at that recording studio, and of course just working alongside the individuals that work there as well.
Yeah. Funny story, Blur Ribbon Recordings is actually just a name that we made up. We recorded the album ourselves. I'm a bit of a recording engineer, like by education, and I work in the audio industry. So I actually was able to like borrow a couple microphones from a friend, and everything else I kind of had already, and we recorded like the drums upstairs here in our practice room, and we recorded the bass and the guitar and the vocals in my home studio, and I edited and mixed the record, and then we had an old mentor of mine do the mastering. So Blur Ribbon Recordings is actually kind of just us.
Yeah. And the guy who mastered the album, he actually did have some credits though. Didn't he? I think you said he did sound for like Adam Sandler movies or something like that.
Yeah. The mastering engineer, really, really great mastering engineer, who's an old professor of mine, and kind of mentor, who I was able to convince to do it for us, even though he doesn't really take many clients anymore. I think. Yeah, he's quite accomplished in the mastering and like film scoring and everything in the field. So it was really nice to work with him because he was able to give us really good feedback on the mixes and everything as I was going along, and then put the finishing touches on it with the mastering. So yeah, that was great.
And also as well, October 27th and 28th, you guys had the opportunity to do back-to-back shows at the Founders Club out there in Las Vegas, Nevada. I was wondering, what was it like just being able to perform on such a legendary Las Vegas stage? And of course, are there actually any up-and-coming shows? That way our listeners can come out and see the Desert Degenerates live in full effect if they haven't already done so yet.
Yeah, I mean, Founders Club is cool. We had played there once before, and it's a nice place. It's like a nice little club, nicer than some of the other spots that we play at that are a little more punk maybe. Uh, but yeah, it's a really cool spot to play at. We played with some other great bands those nights, like Trivial Menace and the Love Bombs. So it was a really good experience. Both nights, really fun. The 27th, we did like our official like CD release party, and then the next night we were there in support for the Love Bombs CD release party. So it was a good weekend of just like hanging out with other friends. And
yeah, and we've been playing, a lot of the other clubs. Like Double Down Saloon was probably like kind of our main hub where we would always get our regular weekly shows, and we played there shitloads of times. That place is fucking awesome. The dive bar, we frequented there for a while, and any like little clubs and dive bars around town we've been doing, but we haven't really. We've been kind of conquering Las Vegas, but we haven't moved out to the other states yet. But we're trying to work on setting up a tour, so that way we can start spreading our music probably to the either Northwest and Southwest is what we are kind of planning right now. And we're also in the process of trying to set up a little punk rock festival out in this little town called Tacopa. That's out in the desert, but they have a 6-stage, and they throw mostly like right now they're doing a lot of hippie festivals out there. Like one of them's like Tacopa Takeover, and that one's pretty cool. But we're trying to get a punk festival set up there where we'll bring some friends and get a big show going. So there's a lot of stuff in the works right now when it comes to that.
Yeah, we don't have any dates like shows lined up at the moment. I think we kind of needed a break after finishing the album and doing album release parties and stuff, but we'll definitely have more coming soon. We always post them on our website and then on our like Instagram and social media and everything. So it's easy to find if you just follow us, at Desert Degenerates on everything, or desertdegenerates.com.
Yeah, we're in the process. We want to get a tour set up, and once we do that, it's just a little bit of work getting all the dates put together.
And also, an individual on here on the comments section by the name of Max Johnson actually said you should probably trademark that. And I'm assuming he is talking about the Blue Ribbon Studios, which I think that is honestly a good idea, because, I mean, just the fact of the name and also the beer, I mean, it kind of could work out and bring a lot of traction to you guys.
Yeah, I might do that. Yeah. I think I secured the Gmail for it already, like blueribbonrecordings@gmail.com. So, we're halfway there. Once you got the Gmail, you're basically on it, right?
Oh, yeah. I gotta say, Blue Ribbon is actually such a cheap but good beer at the same time, and I think that's the first beer that I really got really screwed up on, man. So it definitely does the trick.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many I've had in my life, but it's in the thousands for sure. I actually have a PBR tattoo on my leg, so yeah, I mean, it's near and dear to our hearts for sure. I think we mentioned it in one of the songs on Mojave Nights on Under the Table, actually, yeah.
And also as well, guys, before we actually part ways, what is next for you guys? Because obviously, we spoke about how you guys are trying to get a punk rock festival going. And of course, we spoke about this brand new record on Mojave Nights. But what is next for the Desert Degenerates? Like, is there anything we happen to miss during this evening's interview that you guys still want to touch on, talk about, or promote before we actually part ways this evening?
We're working on trying to make some new music videos. We actually have one music video for Doorman. Most of that was filmed. It's multiple locations, but a lot of that is from the Dive Bar in Las Vegas. That's a really cool punk rock venue. So check out our YouTube channel. Just go type in Desert Degenerates on YouTube. You'll find it. You can see our official music video for that single. And we're working on filming some other ones right now. It's just in the process of getting edited before we throw them out to the world.
Yeah. Yeah, that, obviously we're always setting up shows and always writing new songs. Like we were just working on a new song today, so there will be more new songs and new CDs coming. That's what we're up to.
Yep.
And I gotta say, first and foremost, guys, thank you so much for just giving us a bit of your time here this evening. And I do know, obviously, you said your social media handles about a few moments ago, but just in case if people are just chiming in at last minute, late to the interview, as I should say. Where can they actually find you on social media one last time before we actually part ways?
Yeah, everything is just at Desert Degenerates. So at Desert Degenerates on Instagram, Facebook, and then our website is just desertdegenerates.com. Yeah.
And I gotta say, first and foremost, guys, thank you so much for giving not only myself, but the radio station Airways a bit of your time here this Friday evening, man. It was such an honor speaking with you three, and I hope down the line we can make this happen again sometime soon. But for now, definitely have yourselves a kick-ass night out there in Vegas, and of course, a killer weekend as well.
Yes,
Awesome.
thanks.
Thank you,
We
man.
appreciate it. I hope you have a great one too.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hey, man, you're most certainly welcome, guys. We definitely shall talk soon.
All right. See you, man.